So Kevin Wright back again with another property finance tip. And what is it this week? It's about why you should never be using mortgages if you're going to do a BRR, buy, refurb, refinance strategy, or as I call it, recycle your cash. So if you're thinking that's okay, keep watching because I'm going to tell you why it's not okay. You want to buy a property, do it up, and then refinance it, get your cash back out, and do the same again. Great. It's a very popular strategy. It's been a default strategy for a number of, in fact, masses of property investors for a number of years, well over 10 years and probably longer than that. If you think it's okay to do this buy, refurb, refinance with a mortgage, actually, it's not, and I'm going to explain to you why it's not. I don't know where you got the idea that it is. Maybe it's some sort of training course. I sincerely hope it isn't, because if there's anyone training this out there, they're at least 10 years out of date. So what is it that's actually a problem if you're going to use a mortgage to do a buy, refurb, refinance, to recycle your cash out? Typically, this is you buy a property, you do it up, and after a few months, sometimes 6 months, but it doesn't have to be always, then you then refinance it onto a second mortgage. And that means that you can pay off the first one and get a new mortgage lender. So that's a problem. I'm going to explain why that is. Now, what is okay is if you stick with the same lender and then apply for a further advance. They would typically say, we want to see that you've made at least 6 payments on time every time before they'll consider a further advance. So if you're staying with the same lender and just getting a further advance, that's perfectly fine. The issue is when you intend to redeem the mortgage within months of taking it out. Why is this a problem? Mortgages are not short-term finance, they're medium to long-term finance. If you take a mortgage for 25 years, mortgage lenders don't expect you to keep it for 25 years, but they do expect you to keep it for at least a couple of years, if not more. But the strategy on buy, refurb, refinance is redeem the mortgage within a few months, maybe less than 6 months, maybe just after 6 months, but certainly within a year. It's a problem because if you were transparent and told the mortgage lender that was what you wanted to do, they would terminate your application there and then. Why? Because they don't do short-term loans. Bridging lenders do short-term loans, mortgage lenders don't. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I just won't tell them then. And that's an even bigger problem, because now what you're doing is you're obtaining a mortgage by deception. And you could call that the thin end of the wedge of mortgage fraud. Why is it deception? Well, let's look at this. So you could call mortgage deception or mortgage fraud as deliberate concealment of a material fact that, if disclosed, could alter the lending decision. You intend to redeem this mortgage within a matter of months. You decide not to tell the lender, and so the lender believes, like the vast majority of mortgage borrowers, that you're going to keep this mortgage for a few years. But if you actually said to them, hey, I only want this for a few months, then I'm going to refinance it and get a mortgage with a different lender, the application's terminated. And if you're thinking, but there are these mortgages with no early repayment charge, so they're okay for it. No, they're not, for exactly the same reason. Mortgage lenders that do no early repayment charge mortgages, it's not so that you can use them in a buy, refurb, refinance strategy. It's for people that just want the flexibility to move into a fixed rate or some other type of deal at any time. For example, if interest rates were going to start jumping up and you wanted to fix rate for 5 years, something like that. Now, another point of this is that your mortgage behaviour is clearly detailed on your credit report, so that mortgage lenders, when they check you out, can see exactly how you run the mortgages. And if they keep seeing that you redeem them only a matter of months after you take them out, they're going to see that you're clearly a serial early redeemer. Worst case scenarios there is you get blocked. In other words, mortgage lenders aren't going to be giving you mortgages. If they catch you being, behaving in a fraudulent manner, then they have a secret system that they can put you on, and then you can kiss goodbye for getting any mortgage for years. So the message here is there's nothing wrong with the buy, refurb refinance strategy, as long as on the buy part you either use cash, and that can be your cash or someone else's cash, or you use bridging finance, because bridging finance lenders know that you're gonna pay them back in a few months. They're fine. In fact, the quicker you pay them back, the more they love it. Now, if anyone's telling you different from this, I'm suggesting you ignore them. And here's where I'm coming from. Over 20 years experience as a broker, both of mortgages and bridging and development finance. So as brokers, we spoke to numerous lenders about this early redemption issue, and they're very clear when they speak to us. So, message this week is buy refurb refinance, brilliant strategy, just as long as you don't use a mortgage at the buy part. If you've enjoyed this video, hang around. I've got a couple to show you that might also interest you. Click the like button. Got any comments on this one, pop them below and I'll get round and answer them for you. I'll be back next week with another property finance tip.